My fellow champions of the realm, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Today we're going to be going over a Maldamba gameplay on Jaguar Falls. My buddy, Checkmate Gaming. So, sorry, asthma's acting up a little bit, but so the map is Jaguar Falls, right? Obviously he's playing Damba. His role for this game is going to be support enabler, obviously healing his team. But as well, you want to be looking to create opportunities for your team to excel as well as do things, whether it's stunning someone, speeding someone in, or providing them with the extra damage or healing to get things done. For your ults this game, for the most part, they kind of have like a divey team. You're going to want to look to like stop aggression or single people out, or you could just fear a whole group of people, whether you want to do. You can also look for ults onto the Ashe when she jumps up in the air looking for an ult early game. Late game, it won't do as much. It'll cancel it for a second, but she'll just jump again, so be aware of that. But yeah, for dismounts, you really won't be getting dismounts on this map. This is a really rotational map, and you really don't want to get caught out, right? You want to stay mounted for a little bit and try to play with your team a little more, right? So for your buys, Chronos, super important. After that, I probably would recommend buying Blast Shields or Haven, depending on whether either the Eevee and the Ashe are doing a lot to you, or the Strix and the Tiger, right? And then after that, it'd be probably a Brazil buy, just this, for Ashe stun, for boops, for flashbang, for Eevee ult, for IO, knockback, and stun, and Tiger's sword. They have a good amount of CC just to help you survive a little bit. I think Rizzo is a good buy. Other than that, it's just filler, whatever you feel like you need at that point, right? For your CDs, right? I feel like one thing I don't talk about enough is how will the enemy comp affect your CD usage, right? Slither. Slither's going to be really important because they have an aggressive comp that can get on top of you, right? You're going to want it most of the time to get away, right? Or to reposition. So keep that in mind. You want to get away from the enemies as much as you can. You don't want them to free dive on you. Looking at your comp, you don't really have a real way to deal with Eevee. So I feel like Eevee's going to run a little rampant this game. So you got to be really aware of her. So without further ado, we're going to be getting into this video. And yeah, let's go. So one thing that about this video is Checkmate did actually he's going to like put down here his thought process. So he's gonna give us so we'll basically be able to have a little bit of insight while we're watching him play. So you give the first heal to the Tyra. I actually want to go back and see if I can see your loadout. Do you ever show us? Show me your loadout. No, you actually do not show me your loadout, right? I'm assuming you do have speed in it, though, right? Give the first heal to your term. I'm pretty sure speed applies when they're on mount as well. But giving them the first, especially if he does get dismounted, it'll let him get a little deeper right away. You have two choices. You could either play main or play off lane. And in my opinion, you're going to play main, right? If you had an off tank, right? If you had an off tank with this Koga, I would 100% enable them in the beginning because that allows you to get into dark, and then you can heal main from there. But since it's only a Koga, I'd put your primary focus onto the main lane. Here we are. So right here, you turn away from the main lane. Your Koga does die, but your Tyra trades it out. No one's looking mean. So your term gets punished for it, right? So honestly, you could say that like that was kind of like your team's fault in a sense, but in our reality, like when you play triple DPS, you gotta kind of play together. So it would have been helpful if you were there, but he should have played slower. He should have noticed that you weren't with him at that time. It's fine. As long as Tyra doesn't die here, this is pretty good. We got somebody can push on the right side. There's Tiger. See the Strix shooting at you. Be aware of that. Look for this. No, don't stun him. Look for the stun on the Tiger. So I don't want you to keep pocketing the Koga like, too much. He does get the picker, which is good. I think you threw a word toward point, which is good for the term. Here you are. So right here, you need to understand your angles, right? If this little door is actually very easy to hide from, you can honestly just play here until he starts peeking you, and then you can rotate around. But Right here will probably be your safest position because you can still see here and still see into dark when you need to. And if anything, Term can just play in between the angles so he could stop the crossfire. So you know Eevee's Jag, right? So right here you're fine. I honestly wouldn't back up any farther. I would sit here. Because if Eevee leaves, I'm walking back into dark. Or I'm looking to rotate this way with my like walk, 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 and then when they shoot at me, slither. But then I'm with my whole team, right? So obviously, being here, you're going to be alone. Here, you'll be with your team, but you do have less angles here. But I wouldn't back out because that's a long rotation where you can't heal people. You do notice the Strix is shooting at you, and you die. Yeah, so right there you gotta realize what side your team's holding. You gotta play to that side. So you're coming back here. You are down 1, but you're okay. I put a gourd onto the term. So right here, like you said, you're doing it again. And honestly, this isn't too bad. You're just at a point to where, like, okay, so you know Tyra's here. You know she has control here. You need to go here. Get inside here right now, right? Then you have angles on your Vic, angles on your term, right? This is fine. Once you because like at the end of the day, you need to get information. You can't just play off of like, oh, I think, right? So you get information, right? 3 in main. No one's Jag, obviously, because she would be fighting already, right? And I think somebody's probably dead, so that's another thing, but they just respawn. So 3 here. 1 will probably come back here, maybe 2. But, like, you can rotate here and then start healing your teammate from here, right? A quick slither, and you're good. Slither in, slither in, slither in. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Things like that happen. But you always gotta have a plan of where you want to go, right? You shouldn't be slithering randomly, right? Your slither should always kind of be not perfect, but it should be like, oh, I get shot, I'm going here. I didn't have to gourd for him there, but it's fine. You won't need gourd for anything else. One thing I don't see a lot of Damas too is gourding themselves. Like, don't be afraid to gourd yourself. You know, like if you're low, you need to be alive to do anything, right? So if you gourd yourself, it's not a bad thing. Right here, throwing a gourd on the term. You know the tiger's behind. So right here, right here, right here, right here, right. So you were in mid. You were in mid, which isn't bad, right? Because honestly, pushing the card isn't bad. So Eevee blinks over, tiger's behind, right? So right now, your first thought process should be, I need to get cover, right? You got a little corner here. You got some pillars behind you, right? The pillars will give you immediate cover from the tiger, but I think if you play this correctly, you could get cover here as well, right? But right now, your first thought process should be, I need some type of cover to play around. You decide to hug this corner, right? Right now, you are safe, right? For people to do damage to you, they're going to have to wide swing you, whether it's here or here. And you have a term that in our reality can just walk at you and siphon you if he really has to, right? Another thing too is he can siphon you to here and you can slither to here. Like right now you're in a good spot, right? Sometimes your position is gonna be in a way where you have to find little tiny cracks and corners to play around because you don't have the most optimal position yet because you have to fight for it, right? Right here, you're in a really good spot. Right here, I would fear the Ash, right? I would fear the Ash. Why? Because it'll allow my term to do damage and stuff like that, as well as me do damage. And she probably dies. It's early game, right? But keep in mind that you need to stay in the corner because the second you leave the corner, Tiberius can see you. You know? And Tiberius has 2 options. Either he can shoot at the term, who's going to be swinging at his Ash and kill him, or he can try to shoot you. But if he looks to shoot you, you'll have to walk, 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 wide swing, and the Ash will probably be dead by then. Good fear, but like you walk out into the open, right? But like you could have feared, shot her once, and then wound up a stun and threw it at her. And if you hit her, she dies. And then you, bye-bye. You could have been like, spit, reload, and she jumps up in the air, you hit her before she hits the ground. She has to jump again, and she dies, because she won't get a second jump off with that low of HP. Here we go. Speed into Term. Term jumps in like a madman. Blocks the Ash. Really good. Throw a Gordon main so it heals him, but does damage as well. No one's looking at your Tyra, and she's getting bullied. So right here, this is where like communication is really strong. So they'll get out of caught, avoid that shot, and get healthy. But like, so right now, your team's biggest problem is that they don't look at the same things, right? So since your teammates aren't looking at the same things, right? In triple DPS, that's very, very, very important. Because you don't have the extra health to just survive, right? And you don't have the extra health to just give you free control. So, since you don't have those things, right, communication is going to be very important because they need to be looking at the same things. If Tyra walks through and she gets challenged by two people, you know, y'all need to equalize that aggression and, you know, help her kill those two people. If not, Tyra dies. And even if you do get a kill, it's like you're still down a lot of HP and a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? Do you buy Nimble? I really don't think Nimble's that important. I feel like Nimble, you buy Nimble if like you feel like your positioning is just really off and you need to you want to rotate more without, like you said, without your ability. But I feel like you could be fine here, like especially if you're running fleeting. Like I use Slither to reposition all the time. You could even ask like Term to siphon you into dark. Good heals. Ash is gonna jump on your. Nope, she just knocks her off. So honestly, here, like, I don't think you needed to fear the Ash. Like, you guys were, you basically already had a lead, right? And the IO dies there. I don't think you need to fear this. You need to also be checking who has Brazil and who doesn't, because if she has Brazil, you could be getting more value out of fearing DPS. Right back into that. Well, you see where your Victor's at? Get inside. Help them clear it out. Fix is dead. Long rotation, not gonna be able to heal if you complete that. Support. Boom. Oh ho ho, the Wombo. No, yeah, that's a very common Torwald and IO ult spot. You need to be aware of that. The second you heard that, if you had Slither, you need to pop it. You can't die there. No, you haven't lost it yet. You need a touch. Victor gotta do some crazy stuff. But he's not going to. Yeah, Victor had to run in there and get a touch. But he decided he didn't want to lose KD for that. Your timer's really overextended here, you really can't do too much. Good stun. Koga should chase that. Oh, there's a Strix to the left with the Eevee. You lost your tank here, need to back up. Back up, back up, back up. Back up. There you go. Backing up more. It's fine. So right now your team's doing what's called staggering. And this is why when you play support in the ranked, yeah, it's really good to use your mic because it's like you can kind of like stop them from doing these things. Usually if you tell them like, hey, like we really need to group up right now. We're staggering, right? Or like, hey, I want you to do this. Hey, I want you to do that, right? It's a support player. I feel like you have your eyes are the widest when it comes to seeing what's going on, right? So you should be able to realize these things and, you know, help out when it comes to communication. Be the middle ground between all your teammates. Ash and... Okay, Ash ult's here. Very interesting. Eevee's gonna get a pick. Yeah, ulting Ash doesn't do anything there because she just has so much Brazil. You need to be looking at your thing more to figure out who has resilience and who doesn't, so you can get better ults. Don't jump, man. Just siphon. There's an ult here. There's gonna take a lot of damage. He did not choose. By the way, Term did not choose to come back to you. He got booped. Nice. Shoot at the Eevee. Start shooting. You need to get ult charge back. Shoot. He's looking for an ult. There it is. Now Strix will be behind. Ash is here too. They're gonna pull this off because Strix is in your backline. Yep. Oh my god, there's no way. Oh, thank god. But Vic dies too, right? No. Term gets back in time. All Term has to do is live. My boy needs some resil so he don't get knocked around the whole match too. Wow. And Tiger wastes his ult. So, yeah, I think awareness is a big thing here. Too. Not just positional wise, but just like understanding like what's going on and what people are looking for. You know, because sometimes people, if they're doing certain things, it's just super predictable what they're doing. And I guess that's like easier for me to say since I've played so much, but I kind of like see things that others probably don't. So like, okay, so I know before I'm like don't chase heals, but like you weren't really chasing there. I feel like you were taking a good position. But you just gotta be quicker. So if we go back, right, to the beginning, right, bam. For the most part, you want to be following around your turn since it's triple DPS, right? Boom, boom, boom. Your team's going right, follow them. The issue here is you're dismounted already. That is the issue. The issue isn't that you're chasing; it's that you're dismounting too early. So now you're forced to catch up. Term comes back here. I had a pocket of turn. Honestly, another thing too is like you're on the wrong side, and I know that you didn't know he was gonna push here, but if he does push here, then that's why like as a support, I like to wait for my team to get in front of me, and then I roll off behind them because then whatever they do, I can roll out correctly. So if you do that, you realize that he's gonna come this way. So you should be playing where Victor is, right? Because where Victor is, there's a lot more angles to heal him than there is here, as well as you get to see more things. But you're not really chasing because you should be playing here, right? So right here, you should be following him right now. Follow. Don't go mid. Follow the term. He's low. So right here, you're already at a point to where like it's already too late to follow him. He's probably, if anything, he's probably come to mid. So just stay mid. What happens here is you should have went, you didn't, right? And then you come back to mid, and then you're like, oh, I want to go back. So like right now, you're making a lot of rotations. You made 2 rotations that don't get anything done, and then you're forced to Slither to catch up, and then bam, he's gonna die because he peeks mid when he's low, and he jumps, and then you go mid as well. So like you had like a safe spot for you, and then you left it. So it wasn't really that you chased. It was more so that you made 2 rotations that didn't get you anywhere, and then you had to use your escape to catch up, and then you were in a strong area, and then you left it. That was the issue. Honestly, I want you to have a little more confidence when it comes to fighting flanks. In that scenario, don't instantly slither away, right? Because in our reality, if she misses shots but you're hitting yours, you kill her. you do a good amount of damage, right? So I would have tried to hit her a little bit. I probably would have saved the ult there, but don't know if your team's going to get a touch. No, you got to get touch here. There you go. This is actually good. This is actually a good touch because if you don't touch it, they just tap it and they capture it, right? So this is a good touch. Be aware of the IO. There you go. Good pick. This is good. This is good. Nice. Good job. No, that was good. No, this is actually good. You made the right play here. And I know, like, your brain's like, like Apache. No, like, you had to touch there because they were at 99, right? And then stepped off so long that the overtime proc is gone. So what happens there is then there's a thing called tapping. So you get the point to 99, you get off, right? So you let the overtime thing run out, right? So that it's no longer a thing, and you just touch it with your toe and it'll cap it, right? It's called tapping, right? So you prevented a tap from happening, right? Because you could have just blinked off, and would have capped. And then after that, you made a rotation, I think, to help your teammate, or you just rotated the rotate, and you ended up running into people, which is like, but then you got 2 picks out of it, right? So let's see. Hold on. Let's see why you made that rotation. I think you were going to help a teammate. So you saw Vic there, so you go to help Vic, and then you end up getting 2 picks out of it. So Strix hits the shot on you and pulls out his pistol, so technically he's still hitting shots. You stun him, and you get the kill. That's good. It's a risky play, but it's a good play. Need to be aware of the IOs. Keep in mind, if she turns and ults you, I didn't need to slither in the main here. Good stun. Good EV stun. So one thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to keep winding up stuns, right? This is a tip that I got from Mr. Hayes, who was the pro support for Envy before they obviously the league disbanded and shit. But he told me that I look for too many stuns. That obviously left clicks are going to give you a little more value, especially late game when people have Brazil, because they can counter the stuns, but unless they're buying Haven and stuff, they're not going to counter your left clicks, right? So you not single handedly, but you basically carry this mid. Off of what you did there, you kind of won the mid. As a support player, you carried that mid. Shoot him. There you go. right there. So right there, I feel like there's you should have a little bit of discipline when you're like throwing down gourds, right? You throw down a gourd if you know that it's for you to heal or it's for somebody who's gonna stay in that gourd, right? In that scenario, they both had a little bit of damage to them. You don't need the gourd. You right click one, you wait for the next one, then you right click another one. You know, your teammates don't have to be at 100% HP all the time. And as a support player, that's a rough lesson to learn. You know what I'm saying? They don't always gotta be full. You know, you can top them off, but like you can do that with your right clicks. You don't have to force a gourd on them because gourd's just so good for like chokes and. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. This stun right here. If by the time you wind up your stun, if she pops out her shield, she doesn't die. If you would have just shot instead of winding up your stun, you kill her. But you're inting on her for some weird reason. You should not be doing this. Spam it. Don't even throw the gourd down. Just spam. You'll kill her when she comes out. But you kill Ashe. Ashe does not live there if you just shoot. You don't always have to stun them. Shoot. You do 400 damage a shot. It's crazy. You need to shoot more. Yeah, defense is always nice if you're getting values with your stuns. Honestly, I forgot about that. Yeah, you could probably go Chronos Defense since they have a lot of dive here. Keep in mind that you don't have any other CC other than yourself for the most part, so like you're forcing them to buy a lot of resilience, which is really good because that means they buy less Haven and stuff like that. You sustain my rage. Discord here in the corner is really good because not only will it do damage, but it'll also heal. Making unnecessary rotations. Bad gourd. Rotations will make or break your game. Always keep that in mind. Yeah, you show that Luna who's boss. Right here, I honestly like. I would probably prefer that you not be on the point, right? I would prefer the term to be on the point and you sit back and heal. Go to face, go to face, go to face. Sit back and right here. I would be like, Term, I don't want to push. I need you to push. Gord mid. Gord's a huge Gord. Look for a stun. Spirit. There you go. Yep. No, you hit him. You hit him. He just carries his momentum. You're up 3. There's no way you lose this. Like literally, it's unlosable. As long as you keep your teammates alive. Ash is back. That's the wall. Strix is far left. Nice. More shooting, less stuns. More shooting, less stuns. More shooting, more shooting, more shooting. More shooting. Yeah. All right. So, bam, stat sheets. 35k, 126 good healings, good damage. But I did a little more. She's spamming more than you were. But yeah, good job. So one thing you got to notice is like your teammates 16, 11, 13, they're kind of dying. You're dying less, but that should always kind of be within the same range as each other, right? So keep that in mind. But so the big things, right? You need to be checking who is buying and who isn't buying resilience. Because that is going to let you know what ults are going to be little like small value, and what are going to be huge. Like, okay, you can stop Ash from ulting, but if she's gonna ult, you're gonna fear her, and if she's gonna like 1 second land and then jump again, if she's full health, like, what does that do compared to like, oh, Koga's flanking and Strix has no idea Koga's coming. Oh, I'm fearing mid. You throw it to their back mid, you hit the Strix, and then your Koga just one clips him because Strix is flailing his arms and running into a wall because he's feared, and now he kills Strix. So now you no longer have to worry about that long line of sight. And then Koga just runs through everybody, right? Because you have the numbers advantage. You gotta be checking for that. Use your left click more. Oh my goodness. Stuns are nice. Stuns are good. But you gotta also think it's like a 2-second windup of you like you're just like, oh snake. Oh snake. Especially early game when you don't have death hands, right? So it's like left click, left click, left click. On face, that Ash was like literally absolute. If you shoot her before she gets over that little ramp, she dies. The only reason she didn't die when you dove her is because Io got to her. You could have killed her way earlier. You could have gotten a lot more kills with left clicks. There was a lot of times where it's like when you stood there on that Eevee, you like left click, left click, left click. You killed her, then you stunned the Strix, and then you kept left clicking. You didn't look for another stun, right? Your left click damage is actually nuts, and you need to be taking advantage of it. So yeah, more left clicks. More left clicks, a little less stuns. Gotta be checking who has Brazil, who doesn't. Your buys seem pretty good. And then being aware of how to play around certain comps, right? If you had 2 tanks, right? Let's say you had a Khan instead of a Victor. Khan, Koga go right side. You follow them in the beginning because they're going to create space for you, and they're going to give you access to dark, and they're going to maintain that space, right? but it's triple DPS, so that you don't have that off tank, right? So you got to let your flank kind of do their own thing, and you got to pocket your main tank, right? And your main DPS. And I think that's all the things that I noticed. So without further ado, man, I'm gonna let y'all know. If you liked the video, man, leave a like down below. If you want to keep up with me and my videos, subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or if you want to get your match reviewed, you can leave the match ID with your IGN down below in the comments, or you can message me on Discord at Apache APXCHE #2456. And you can send it to me there. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.